and let us all do we can to build a better future.
So, folks, corporate media has absolute power and none of the responsibility. Corporate media is right now covering Queen Elizabeth II's death, which I have to say, okay, she passed away. Can we cover issues that are far more important? Chances are corporate media, once this story does die down, they're going to continue covering this ridiculous war in Ukraine, or talking about how the Pentagon is getting an increase in its military budget, or how a bank is being bailed out, or, oh no, how Wall Street is suffering. But the thing is, what corporate media is not doing is talking about, well, how our water is being poisoned, how our infrastructure is falling apart. Now, I urge all of you to check out the full interview that Briahna Joy Gray did with Dr. Cornel West. It's a fantastic interview. It's about 50 minutes long. If you're not subscribed to her YouTube channel, please do so. But this video, and it's a compilation that was put together by, again, the great Case Study QB. Be sure to check it out. Cornel West, in just this short segment, gives out more information on what's happening to the American people than you'll see from this segment from corporate media from MSNBC. MSDNC. Sorry, MSNBC. So let's go ahead and get that set up right here for all of you to check out. Again, I got some follow-up stories that will get all of you mad, and especially we've been talking about this all of last week, so find out just how bad things are, because again, corporate media, well, they don't give a damn. So let's play this.
In Europe, Secretary of State Antony Blinken made an unannounced trip to Ukraine yesterday. Blinken met President Volodymyr Zelensky in Kyiv and pledged an additional $2 billion in long-term military aid for Ukraine and 18 other European countries that have been threatened by Russia. His announcement coincided with the Biden administration also unveiling a roughly $600 million package of heavy weaponry and ammunition, including howitzers, Humvees, and anti-tank systems.
Well, it sure is interesting that we were able to crap out money for this war. I think, what is it now? 60 billion, 70 billion dollars that has gone to Ukraine. That's a lot. That's a lot of money.
Blinken also commended Kyiv for their counteroffensive in the south, saying the effort to regain control of Russian-held areas was, quote, proving effective. This is Blinken's second trip to Ukraine since the war began back in February.
So, again, there's a lot of coverage about what's happening in Ukraine. Look, and I want this war to end. And I think it's a horrifying situation that's taking place there. But at the end of the day, we all must still shine a light on the fact that our government is able to crap out billions of dollars for this proxy war. But yet there's nothing for the people. So let's hear the wise words from Dr. Cornel West on Briahna Joy Gray's show.
Most of the water is undrinkable, brown and all the other colors. And where's the priorities of these milquetoast neoliberals like Biden and the Black Congressional Caucus and the Democratic Party? Hardly say a mumbling word about it because they don't want to make the party look bad given the elections that's coming. Please, we've got to somehow push suffering to the side while you engage in Machiavellian politics. And we know it's a low priority on your list, where it's a high priority in ours. And of course, we'd say the same thing about the bad water anywhere. It could be Flint, it could be white poor folk in Appalachia, it could be our precious Chicago brothers and sisters in Arizona, anywhere like that.
So there, you're informed right now, just that short segment, what's happening to our water supply. Our infrastructure is falling apart. Dr. Cornel West is right. These politicians, these neoliberal Democrats, like Biden, like Harris, like Nancy, like Chucky Boy Schumer, their priorities are to their donors. Their priorities are to the 1%. Their priorities are not to the communities or regular people. They don't care about how we are struggling just to make ends meet. They don't give a damn and they're okay with us suffering and dying. I want to pull up this story just to refresh everyone just what exactly is happening, because update, possible arsenic and Legionnaire's disease water concerns in New York City, of all places. Again, shout out to Case Study QB.
On the arsenic concerns at the Jacob Riis houses tonight, the mayor's office is still urging residents not to use the water, even though new tests show the water is negative for arsenic. Yesterday, tests found 140 samples, found no discernible amount of arsenic in the water, none. These new tests come after a lab reported last week that the water in the building was positive for arsenic. And now that same lab is saying there might be Legionella bacteria in the water. The mayor says those results might not be accurate.
We questioned that because that was the same lab that gave us the questionable results before. We're going to do the test to make sure before we tell residents to drink water again that comes from their tap. We want to be 100% sure. But we also want to be 100% transparent.
Isn't it interesting? Just in this week alone and last week, all across America, the stories are the same. Our water supply is contaminated. People don't have access to clean drinking water. There's lead in our water. There's Legionnaire's disease in our water. There's arsenic in our water. There's other dangerous viruses and diseases and toxins in our water. And it just isn't in a blue state or a red state. It's all over the United States of America. When did this happen? Why is this allowed to be happening? You would think if our lawmakers actually gave a damn about the people that they're supposed to represent and fight for in Washington, D.C., that they'd be doing something right away to stop this. But no, the money has to go to war. The money has to go to the prison industrial complex. The money has to go to bailing out Wall Street and the big banks. But drink your crap water. That's what these politicians want you to do.
Well, there also have been no confirmed cases of Legionella at the Riis houses in the last year. The city is still distributing bottled water to the residents.
All right. But hold on, because I got some more to share with all of you. I'm going to take you back in time to a story that probably flew under a lot of people's radars. A lot of people may not be aware of this. This is in early summer of July of 2021. So let's share it with all of you. This is in my backyard, or June 21 of 2022. Sorry, I got that wrong. June 21st of 2022. My apologies. We talked about this on Chicago Corner. High lead levels in Chicago home water. So what's going on? Lead in our drinking water. Water in more than a third of the homes tested by the city shows high levels of lead. Why it matters. The EPA says no level of lead in drinking water is safe. Well, no duh, Sherlock. I mean, come on. But according to an Axios analysis of nearly 25,000 test results from spring of 2018 to spring of 2022, 82% of tested homes had more than 1 part per billion of lead. Almost 35% had at least one sample with more than 5 parts per billion, the legal threshold for lead in bottled water. By the way, folks, again, if Daniel was here, he would tell you any amount of lead in your drinking water, in your soil, in your house, it's not safe. Lead is not safe, period. The number that you want is 0%. Hell, negative 0%. And before any of you type in the comment section below, 0 is not a percent, or negative 0 is not a real number. I'm being sarcastic here. Okay, so there you go. More than a dozen homes had readings over 50 parts per billion, with one as high as 6,000 parts per billion. The context, about 400,000 Chicago homes are connected to the water main using lead pipes because city rules required all houses and small apartments to install them until 1986, when they were finally outlawed nationally. Now, again, for those of you who don't know, lead can damage children's brains and contribute to heart disease in adults. Illinois children have shown some of the highest blood lead levels in the nation. So chances are yours truly has lead in his blood too. So there you go. Flashback, the Chicago Tribune analyzed home tests in 2018 and found similar results. There are many possible reasons for high test results, such as debris collecting in the aerators and extended vacancy before testing. Department of Water Management spokesman Megan Vitas told Axios. Municipal water supplies are under the jurisdiction of the EPA and are held to a standard of 15 parts per billion, not the FDA's bottled water standard of 5 parts per billion. So Chicago officials only act after levels reach 15 parts per billion. That is a number that is still too damn high. Now, under Rahm Emanuel's administration, the city has done nothing. Under Mayor Lori Lightfoot's administration, the city of Chicago has done nothing for the people. There's lead in a major metropolitan city's drinking water. Flint, Michigan still doesn't have access to clean drinking water. But wait, I got one more follow-up to this story, because it shows you, and should show all of you, that even at the end, when things look like it's going to get better, there's still that ongoing danger. The ongoing danger in the fact that your water isn't safe. And these politicians will still try and convince you that everything's safe, everything's fine, that you have nothing to worry about. Don't panic. Here we go.
Advisory in West Baltimore has been rolled back. It's now lifted for parts of the city and Baltimore County. The Baltimore Department of Public Works has been working to confirm that city water is clean and safe after samples tested positive for E. coli contamination over the past weekend. Jessica Albert explains what city leaders are asking neighbors in those impacted areas to do.
The Department of Public Works wants people who are still impacted by the boil water advisory to help them flush the water system by turning on their faucets.
Now, so for those of you who may not remember, we actually talked about this earlier this week, where, again, there was some dangerous material, contaminants in Baltimore's drinking water. This is just an update to this, but this should remain in your minds for a while, because the words that I played of Dr. Cornel West on Briahna Joy Gray's show, Bad Faith, what he's saying is that all across America, no matter what state you live in, what city you live in, we don't have access to basic rights, basic necessities. Clean drinking water, the right to have safe, clean drinking water, is being denied to the American people. Not just one group of voters over another. Everyone is suffering because of this. And these neoliberal, neoconservative politicians in the Democratic Party and in the Republican Party are okay with collecting money from their corporate donors and not doing a damn thing to provide you, the American people, the right to have safe, clean drinking water. They're not going to do that.
And letting them run. We do have a new map to show you of the affected area. It is much smaller now. Again, people in that area are being asked to turn on their faucets for 15 minutes and flush their entire water system, starting with the faucets at the bottom of their home and then moving up. This is a partial lift of the advisory because the city is waiting to get more water test results back. City leaders are also investigating 2 possible cases of contaminated water exposure. The health department says it is too soon to say if those cases are connected to the boil water advisory. As the city deals with the water contamination, the mayor is giving all residents a discount on their next water bills.
We understand the inconvenience that this has caused residents.
How convenient. A discount. How about a full-on pardon? People should be paying their water bills right now if the city isn't providing them clean drinking water. They should fix that infrastructure. Maybe do like a full-on forgiveness, like, hey, sorry that you might have possibly exposed you and your family to a dangerous contaminant in the drinking water, and that the Baltimore officials really dropped the ball on it. But, you know, this is America. You got to keep on paying your money. After all, keep on paying the bills. Look what they did to us during the lockdown in 2020. You couldn't go to work. You had to wear masks, stay, again, in quarantine, but pay your gas bill, pay your electric bill. Do all of that.
In reference to water usage. So we are going to be extending a 25% discount on water bills in the next cycle for the entire city of Baltimore.
If you need water today, there are several locations that you can go to. You can come here to the Lansdowne Library in Baltimore County, or you can go to Middle Branch Park or Harlem Park Elementary Middle School in Baltimore City. Those locations will open up at 9 o'clock this morning and close at 8 o'clock tonight.
That was live, folks. So there you go.
And a reminder, you can get 3 gallons of water at these locations. Reporting in Baltimore County, Jessica Albert for WJZ.
And our cameras were there as the
All right. So we're going to end this segment here. But before we do end this segment, how sad is it that in the richest country in the world, we have nothing for our people? How pathetic is it that in the richest country in the world, the American people are suffering in third world conditions? Nothing's going to fundamentally change until we actually do something far more drastic. We got to stop supporting these politicians. We got to stop electing them into office because they've had decades and decades to do the right thing. So shout out to the outlet like Briahna Joy Gray, Bad Faith, for actually doing something, having a real conversation with Dr. Cornel West and talking about the issues that are impacting millions of Americans. Those stories that I played, those videos, those articles that I shared with you are an insight on, well, how we are being ignored as citizens in the richest country in the world. It's not right. And this is why we need independent media. We need more voices. We need to hear more voices like Dr. Cornel West, Briahna Joy Gray, and so many others, people like Revolutionary Blackout Network, Convo Couch, Mikasa Casa, and so many others that are doing the right thing. And I do hope that we see a rise in more independent media networks, because mainstream media will never cover these stories. You see them on local media, but will they ever get real national attention, like from outlets like CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, ABC, CBS? The answer is no. The answer will always be no.